Horrified husband discovers secret photos of his wife. On younger brother's laptop, uncovering a shocking web of betrayal. Hey guys, welcome back to Alpha Talk. So, for today, I'm going to be going over one of the craziest stories I've done in a long time, titled I, a 38-year-old male, just found out that my brother, 19-year-old male, has been using surveillance. I'm going to use that word to say what he actually uses because YouTube won't like it, on my wife, 37-year-old female. And guys, this story, like I said, is one of the crazier ones I've done in a long time, and it definitely shows that truth is stranger than fiction. This is all about a guy he's 38, and he allowed his 19-year-old brother, this brother was like a surprise pregnancy to his parents, to come live with him and his wife in their big house during COVID because he had no place to go because his school was shut down. He thought everything was great, and then one day he discovers that kid has a picture of his wife on his computer, not exactly in a compromising position, so to speak. He then investigates and finds that that picture was just the tip of the iceberg compared to what that younger brother had been doing and gathering, so to speak, during the time he's been living with them. The kid is screwed up, to put it mildly, okay? And I'm doing this, guys, aside from the crazy factor, to show you that you never know with people, okay? I tell you all the time to look out for red flags, obviously, because it's a men's channel with regards to your wife, your girlfriend, fiance, but this goes to show that you can't trust anybody. You have to pay attention to everyone and everything, even your own family. And this is absolutely crazy. And guys, this is one of these stories you want to listen to the end because it gets crazier and crazier as it goes. You know, truly, truth is stranger than fiction. But anyhow, it's a little long, but worth it. So I'm going to just jump right into it so we don't waste any more time. So it starts off, background. My brother has been staying with us since the lockdown after his university closed. He couldn't stay with our parents because they just sold their house and moved into a one-bedroom apartment, and our sister lives in a different part of the country. He was the oops baby, so I hope that explains the age gap. My wife and I have a 5-bedroom home, but currently don't have any children as of yet. We decided to adopt 2 kids in our 40s, so we let him stay here. Well, that's awfully nice of them, and as you're going to see, no good deed goes unpunished. He says, my brother has always been different. He's a bit of a loner and doesn't have a lot of friends outside his online community. Well, that isn't a surprise, given the fact that I know what's going to happen here, that he's different. The kid is a complete oddball and a spoiled brat, no doubt, as you're going to see more later on when you get to hear more about his parents. He's a shy, geeky kid, but he's otherwise all right when you get to know him. Or so I thought. So, here's what happened. The Wi-Fi doesn't quite reach my brother's room, so he usually does his schoolwork and other stuff in the dining room. A few nights ago, I was walking to the fridge after waking up in the middle of the night. He says the wife and I go to bed early, and I saw my brother working on something. And as I got closer, I saw a very compromising picture of my wife, and he says, a cleavage shot while she was gardening. He noticed me and quickly closed the window like he was watching. You know what? I was too shell-shocked to say anything at the time, and he just smiled awkwardly and ran into his room with a laptop. Smiled awkwardly? That's how he handled it? What is he, 6 years old? He just ran away? Imagine that. You know how many times you guys wake up middle of the night to go to the bathroom or whatever, and you're half asleep, so you're not really noticing anything around you, and this guy thought he saw a picture of his wife on the kid's computer. Imagine that. I don't think he slept well that night. He continues, when I realized that something was up, I knew I had to find out. The next day, I asked my brother to pick up some groceries and some lunch for us, and while he was away, I went to his room, something I've never done since he moved in, so this guy's respecting his privacy, even though it's his own house. Meanwhile, younger brother is doing, as you're going to see in a moment, and, well, it wasn't pretty. I saw a couple of my wife's bras and some of her panties, which I can only assume he used to pleasure himself with. So, this kid is collecting his wife's bras and panties. Holy crap. And this again is just the tip of the iceberg. It gets worse. I took his laptop and I decided to snoop. I knew his password because I borrowed it one time for something. There, I saw some of those sickening entries I've read. There were pictures of my wife in a towel, her working out, her in compromising positions, etc., all taken without her consent, by the looks of it. The effort even logs every time he touches. Something to the images of my wife. The effort. The kid is keeping track of every time he does. You know what? With pictures of his wife. This kid is really screwed up. What the hell? Collecting her bra and panties. Wait until the wife hears about this. The creepiest part. Oh, like this isn't creepy enough. The creepiest part. He sometimes listens to us having, you know what? My wife can be a bit loud, but we didn't think it would be a problem since his bedroom was in a different part of the house. So the kid is keeping track of this and keeping a recording and logging entries of all these things. This is crazy. Can you see now why I did this story, guys? To show you just never know with people. I left the room feeling like I need a shower. It was absolutely disgusting. Now, I don't know what to do. I find myself fighting the urge to pummel him into next week every time I see him. Well, you know what? I don't blame him in the least for feeling that way, and in my opinion, that brother has it coming, okay? I'm not in any way trying to promote doing anything that will get you guys brought up on charges and arrested and getting a record, but in this particular case, this is the younger brother in his house doing these things. Believe me, if there's ever a cause for an ass kicking, this is it. It is definitely justified. I haven't told my wife yet because I'm 100% sure she will feel very violated and disgusted, so I want to find the best solution before doing so. I so desperately want to kick him out, but he has nowhere else to go. Too bad. This is obviously the nice guy, and the brother coming out here. Too bad. That kid, aside from getting a good ass whooping, should have all his belongings put in a big garbage bag, or bags put out in the front porch. And the second he gets home says, "Get the hell out of here. Don't ever come back here again," okay? He's 19 years old, okay? He's a legal adult, and he needs to be accountable for his actions. Unfortunately, in this day and age, we have a generation of kids that are so spoiled by their parents, they have no accountability, and they are 19 years old, but they might as well be 19 going on 8 years old in terms of maturity and accountability. And where do you think that probably came from? He was the baby brother and probably spoiled by this guy's mother, okay? And you're going to see a little bit more about that as time goes on. He says, "Even if I do, what should I tell my parents? The truth? This will most likely break the family apart." That's on the younger brother, not you, okay? What he has done is criminal, okay? This guy would have every right to call the police. His wife would have every right to call the police and report him, and the kid would have a criminal record, okay? So, believe me, the kid would get off lucky by not having an ass kicking and being kicked out and not having this being reported to the authorities. It's not your problem. This would break the family apart. That is on the brother. Says, I do plan on telling my wife soon, but if I do, I can almost guarantee she would want nothing to do with him and would never want him to visit the family if he's around. Well, she should know, regardless of how screwed up it is, and obviously it's going to freak her out in so many ways, obviously, and you're going to see more here. The story, I get the impression the wife's cool. She needs to know, okay? As screwed up as it is, and yeah, she's every right to not want that little effort in the house ever again, let alone within probably about, 500 yards of her. I'm so effing lost right now. Any advice will help. Still fighting the urge to beat my brother to a bloody pulp. Oh, I can imagine, man. He says, a small update. I told my wife the Redditors who said I should tell her first before anything because she was the victim were absolutely right. I'm giving her all the power to decide what to do about it. No, do not put all the decision-making in her with regards to this. It goes both ways. You can decide to, too. A lot has happened, but there are still some things that need to be settled. Too long to add here and too incomplete to make a new update post. Hopefully we'll have everything settled tomorrow or the day after. I'll write the update once everything is settled down and I calmed down. And he says, no, I'm not going to beat up my brother, but I have thought about it. And he also says, and to the people asking for pictures, you're disgusting. Hope the women in your life are proud of you. That's my wife. Please have some respect. People were actually asking this dude for the pictures. I'm not surprised, but come on. Now, he provides an update as to what happens with the brother, the wife, the family, and like I said, it gets crazier. And wait, do you see how the brother was? Well, you'll see. He says, this update was long overdue, so I apologize to everyone who waited for this. I've had daily messages asking me about what happened, and now that I'm in a better place to talk about it, I can tell you everyone about what actually happened. First of all, thank you to everybody who pointed out that I should tell my wife first before confronting my brother. You were right. She did appreciate the fact that I gave her control over the situation. Well, I wouldn't give her complete 100% control over the situation. I told my wife the next day after posting, and needless to say, she did not take it well. I can imagine. Can you imagine being on the fly on the wall when they had that conversation? Hearing that? She says she feels violated, unsafe in her own home. See, the thing is, my wife and I have been together for almost 15 years. So we literally saw this kid grow up. We took him out to the movies, to the beach, etc. We sometimes even joked to my parents that he was practically our baby, our practice baby. My wife has a tendency to distrust people in general, as a lot of people in her life have let her down in the past. Well, if she's had trust issues in the past, this is going to make it a bazillion times worse, and she's never going to trust anybody again. But imagine that this kid, the younger brother, they saw, he was like 4 years old when they got together or something like that, so they were in their 20s, if you do the math here, so they were probably taking them out to the carnival and the movies and doing all those things. And then years later, this kid is doing this. I mean, can you imagine just how screwed up that is? Because she obviously saw not just a little brother, probably almost like a kid, like he was mentioning. And my wife, I read that part already. He says, honestly, if I wasn't consoling my wife, then I probably would have gone through the initial idea and beat the ever-living crap out of my brother. I got to say this years ago. One of my martial arts instructors says to the class, I forget what the subject was, how this came about. Basically, he said, in his opinion, that he thinks that everybody should be punched in the face really hard once in their life. That way people know exactly what it feels like to get an ass kicking. If you get out of line and treat somebody, you say or do something to somebody else that warrants an ass kicking, that would basically People would think twice before a lot of the things they say and do, because let's be honest, most people in their lives have never been punched in the face before. And if you've ever been in a fight, guys, and punched in the face really hard, you know what it feels like. It's not pretty, okay? No matter how tough you are, okay? And in this particular situation, that younger brother, this really screwed up. I'm watching my words here, obviously, because of YouTube. This kid has it coming, and I think this kid would learn a few things by having a good, at least one good, solid punch in the face from the older brother. It would be warranted, but this kid, he's not going to get that. And wait, do you see how this continues on here? He says, after she calmed down and went to sleep, I called my sister and talked about the situation. My sister and I are close, given that we're Irish twins. I feel like she needs to know because she has 2 teenage daughters herself, and who knows what my brother would do to them if given the chance. Exactly. Again, imagine that conversation with the sister. The sister. We talked, and she was clearly mad. She loves my wife like a sister, and they're quite close to themselves. She said she would support whatever decision we make, and our brother would be also unwelcome at her place for the foreseeable future. Good, good. He has a sister on his side so far. So good. Wife obviously on his side, sister on his side. Now, here's the part when they confront the brother. Then we confronted my brother. At first, he denied it. Are you out of your mind? Stereotypical 19-year-old in today's world. At first, he denied it, but when I showed him the evidence, he started ugly crying and begging us to forgive him. Like a little brat. After all he's done, he just can't be a man about it and acknowledge what he'd done. Now, obviously he's screwed up, but I am not in any way, shape, or form going to use that as an excuse to give him any pity or any special treatment, okay? I guarantee there's going to be somebody's going to watch this video and comment in the comment section about poor him and he has mental issues and you should need to let it go. And I'm like, no. This guy is, in my opinion, deserves a good punch in the face. I have his thrown out of the house and basically that's it. You're an adult now. You deal with it and deal with the consequences of your actions. Because again, in this generation, no accountability. We all know it. I gave him an ultimatum. Either he lets me in his phone and laptop and delete everything, or I called the police. Good. There was so much more in his computer than I initially thought. So many more stolen pictures of my wife that were definitely taken without consent. The effort even recorded the audio of us having, you know what? Oh, holy, again, punch in the face. Who does that? So, after hours of me looking for as much as possible and pretty much clearing most of his hard drive, he eventually left without much of a fight. Oh, and we definitely threw out my wife's defiled underwear, and most are most likely going to have the room he stayed in cleaned professionally. I don't want to know what's on that carpet. I don't want to know what's in that room. Imagine the black light in there. Oh, I checked, and thankfully he didn't, how he got the pictures, have any hidden cameras anywhere. Oh, and if you're wondering how he got pictures of my wife in a towel, the shower for the master bedroom doesn't have hot water yet, so my wife uses the shared one in the same area. She would usually walk out of the bathroom just with a towel on and go to change in the walk-in closet. This should have been a problem because the guest bedroom was in a different part of the house, far from the main bedrooms, and it had its own bathroom, so my brother had no reason for being there, except for the fact that he is completely screwed up. And again, I have words I want to use, but I can't use them, and you guys can probably connect the dots to what I want to say, but I can't say because this is YouTube. Needless to say, my wife is still shaken up about the whole thing, which is why I didn't think about writing an update until now. I'm sorry about my wife's well-being is my priority above anything else. Dude, don't apologize. You're dealing with a really screwed up situation. Now, it gets better, telling his parents. My mom eventually called me asking what's happening. She seemed very confused, so I figured my brother didn't tell her anything at all. Imagine that. I told her what happened, and needless to say, it did not end well. She kept asking me to forgive my brother and take him back in. After all that, everything he's done, the freaking creepiest, most, again, you can use the word, the stuff he did to the guy, to him and his wife and all that, and the mom wants him to take him back and live with them? Are you out of your damn mind? Well, you're going to start to see here that mom is probably the reason, part of the reason why the brother is the way he is. Mom spoils him. Mom rants. She rants about how difficult it would be to support him and how what I'm doing is breaking the family apart. Oh, okay. The younger brother has been doing all the things I've been telling you all about. He tells that he kicks him out, which he has every right to do because of how he's made his wife feel, amongst many other things. And now his mom has the gall to say that he, the brother, is tearing the family apart. Are you out of your damn mind? How about blaming your son? How about calling him out for his actions? How about some accountability? No, why? Because guarantee it was mommy, because he was the baby, just spoiled him. And this is a perfect example of many of the kids of today's world. No accountability. The parents let them do whatever the hell they want. See, I got to tell you guys, at that point, I love my mom, but if I was in a situation like this and my mom pulled some crap like that, I'd be like, We're not talking anymore. We're not talking anymore. Do you apologize for that and do not ever say anything like that again? Make me out to be the bad guy? I'm out of here. Don't talk to me again until you're ready to freaking apologize. I let her talk to everything I said. My brother would no longer... I let her talk until I eventually said my brother would no longer be welcome in my home. I told her that she needed to get him to therapy and that until then, there's no chance we'd ever see him. My mom told me she talked to my sister about it and said good luck. She's mad at him too. Crazy. There you go. Again, everybody's responsible for their own actions, but looks like Mommy had a lot to do with this. Goes on. Not sure what's going to happen to our family now. The reason why we got the big house was because we want everyone to come over during the holidays and stay with us. But I'm not sure my parents will be at this point, and there's no chance my brother's ever coming back anytime soon. Oh, I'd say the younger brother is banned for life, believe me here, and you think your wife's going to want to see him after all that? I mean, come on here. Thankfully, my sister is 100% on my side, and we're going to talk about what we're going to do for Thanksgiving soon. Well, you know what? Given the choice between having a sister 100% on his side versus the parents, I would take the sister, because let's be honest here, she's going to live a lot longer, okay? But you got to be crazy. He doesn't mention what his dad says, but I'm willing to bet you that his dad, Mom, runs the show, okay? And Mom speaks for the dad, even, and I get you that Dad was probably non-existent. Why the younger brother is the way he is. Continues, my wife hasn't really been the same either, but she's getting better now that my brother is gone. I certainly understand that. It's going to take her a while to come back to being who she was, which she went through. We're talking about therapy, which is something she's very willing to try out. We took a drive to the beach the other day. He says, chill guys, we didn't leave the car, and talked about the future. We both agreed that after the whole COVID thing is over, we're going to finally start our family with kids we want to. Being a mom is something she always wanted to do, but we wanted to be financially secure enough to give them a good life and for us to be in a position where we didn't have to work so much and just spend time with them. The sparkle in her eyes when we talked about our life together with the kids told me that while things aren't good right now, they were going to be okay. Yeah, in time she will be okay, and it's probably going to take some therapy, and also this guy 100% making it clear that she and the new family with the kids come first above all, and he's not going to cave to his mother's psychotic wishes, and he's certainly not going to let that effed up brother anywhere near any of them. I honestly can't wait to be a dad myself. So, yeah. Long story short, the brother is gone, the wife is still sad, sister is on my side, my mom isn't, and I'm going to be a dad in a few years. Thanks to everyone who gave me their advice and honestly helped me clear my head and make the right decision to tell my wife first. Oh, and to the questions that may come up, no, we did not go to the police. My brother deleted everything voluntarily and left without a trace. I'm sure the pictures are still out there somewhere, but thankfully they aren't too explicit, and that wouldn't severely damage my wife's reputation. The brother got off lucky. I don't care. Anybody says here in the comments section. I guarantee most people in the comment sections will agree with me in my opinion on this, but for those that don't, he could have called the police and I could have a record. He didn't do that, so stop complaining. Also, he didn't whip his brother's ass, which in my opinion, that it was certainly warranted at least one good punch in the face. No, he didn't do that. And, he says, I know we aren't going to try to get pregnant or anything like that. Well, you're not going to get pregnant. She's going to get pregnant. I hate when people say we're pregnant. No, you're not pregnant. We're not pregnant. You say we're expecting, but we are not pregnant. I had a friend of mine say that a few years ago, and I wanted to slap him in the face. I'm like, nah. Oh, you're having a child, dude. I had to say that. That just drives me crazy, the whole word pregnant. We plan on adopting, which is something we both talked about early on. So again, thanks to everyone who messaged and commented. I may not have read everything, nor I replied to everyone, but rest assured it was all greatly appreciated. Well, anyhow, guys, I know that story is a little different from what I normally do, but I thought it was a definitely interesting one to share and also to show you that you just never know. So you always got to pay attention to red flags when it comes to people. And also, again, that was one of the big lessons about paying attention to the red flags of people. And also the fact that what happens when a parent has a kid, be completely unaccountable, okay? I guarantee a part of the reason that younger brother is the way he is because obviously the mother spoiled him. He has no accountability, okay? And she wanted him to actually take the brother back and living with him after all that? Are you out of your damn mind? So I would pull completely right off the parents until she's willing to basically acknowledge that she was wrong and apologize for all her crap, and that's that, okay? And as for the younger brother, that younger brother got off lucky, in my opinion, okay? It could have been way worse, and he needs to grow the hell up, okay? Because he is screwed up, and yeah, that means he needs therapy. That could be to the same mother that was telling him that he, said the brother, the guy writing the story, is breaking up the family and it's his fault, should take him back. She can finance the therapy or whatever it takes to get the younger brother some help, okay? she can do that. Because at the end of the day, she was the parent of this child and obviously had impact on her ways of raising him, obviously contribute to how he is today and all this. It's not Dylan, the brother's fault. He was trying to do a nice thing for the younger brother. But as you see, no good deed goes unpunished. But anyway, guys, that'd be a good one to do. Be sure to comment down below, then let me know what you think about this. Let me know how you think things should have been handled with regards to the younger brother. I really like to hear about it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.